Good morning, everyone. It's Kate Kaltoff. Welcome to a Stamping to Share video. I am so excited to share more about the beautiful paper that we're going to use today, which is called Meandering Meadows. And we're going to make an offset gatefold latch card. So kind of a lot of fun. This was actually my demo meeting mystery card this past week at our demo meeting. So it's fun to share it here with all of my customers and friends on Facebook, as well as the YouTube premiere tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. over on YouTube. So we'll just replay this video, but I'll be able to chat with you on the YouTube app. All right, so we have Mary Ellen here. Thank you so much for joining me today, Mary Ellen. She has already shared, which is just awesome. I am going to, of course, be sharing these beautiful cards, as you can see right here. But before I do that, I have a few little housekeeping things to take care of. So let me share those next. So I want to tell you that Stampin' Up! Has a seasonal sale and it's going on right now. So I printed off something to help you see what's exactly on sale. It's between November 14th and the 16th, and that includes today and tomorrow and the next day. And if you're watching this on Wednesday over on YouTube, it'll be Wednesday and Thursday. So these are the dates. November 14th through the 16th. And here's what's on sale. It's all out of the annual catalog. It's 10% off ribbons and trims, 15% off inks, and 20% off papers. Here's my November host code, if you'd like to use that. And then there's a lot more than what it sounds like that's on sale. So I'm just going to read some additional things that are on sale. And I'll bring it up to the camera so you can see as well as I read. For paper, it includes cards and envelopes, including memories and more, cardstock, packaging, pattern paper, specialty paper, which never goes on sale, but it's on sale, grid paper, masking paper, and watercolor paper. For ink, it includes ink pads, which includes the classic Versamark, Stays-On, and Memento ink pads. It includes all the ink refills, ink spots, uninked pads, alcohol markers, which are our Stampin' blends, and the Stampin' Write markers. So this is actually kind of a big sale if you need to round out your collection. The other thing to note is that entire ink collections are not included in the sale. For example, if you want to purchase the entire Regal's ink pad collection, that's not on sale. There's a little asterisk that explains that down here. However, if you want to get the Regal's Stampin' Write markers, well, that's the only way Stampin' Up! Sells them. So those are on sale. So you can get a whole collection of the Stampin' Write markers. So thought I would cover that for you just to help it make more sense to you why this is actually kind of a big sale. And I'll be placing my order directly after my Facebook Live presentation today. Also, just a reminder, my November host code is this one right here. So if you want to use that, and your order is at least 25, you will get the paper perks. If it's up to 50, you get a happy stamper token and the paper perks. And if it's a $75 minimum product order, you will get a happy stamper token, the paper perks, and my customer gift of the month, which this month is our festive pearls. And I will mail that out to you with your thank you card. All right, so the next thing I want to share with you before we actually get into our whole latch card is our demo meeting make and takes last month, which were so much fun. We used the Sending Cheer bundle. So this is what that looks like. And then it also comes with a set of coordinating dies. So you can punch out some of the images on Sending Cheer, But then you also have a bunch of additional images, such as this cute little hat, and it's just so much fun. An additional little stocking topper, and another stocking topper. There's just so much to do with this. You will love it. So let me share with you the beautiful tags that we made that were part of our demonstrator meeting this past month. So we don't actually make the items at the demonstrator meeting. I show them at the demonstrator meeting, and then I mail out the make and takes after the meeting. So this is the first darn cute tag with all of the stockings lined up in a row. Isn't that so, so cute? Now, the stockings, when you cut them out with the die, they have a little latch up here, so you can actually string them through ribbon, as we did on this card. Isn't it cute? So I shouldn't say card. It almost looks like a card. You could take the idea and turn it into a card, but this is actually a tag for those big, big Christmas presents under the tree. The next one is this one. Isn't that so cute? So of course the ribbons really help make these tags. Look at how adorable that is. And we do include all of the ribbons and embellishments. It's just fun for my downline to do. We have a lot of participants in our make and takes. So this is the second one. Cute little spot to write to and from who your gift is for and from. Then we've got a cute little gingerbread tag. So, so adorable. And the final one is this one here with all of these darling little presents. So I just want to share them all out if I can. I don't know if I'll show two at a time. So there's these two. And this is the timber embossing folder back here in the background. And you'll notice all of these cool papers that are scattered across. That's the glorious gingham 6x6 designer series paper. And then here are the two portrait style tags. And again, we're using the glorious gingham designer series paper on these tags. So I feel pretty blessed by my downline. They are amazing, and it's so easy to stay motivated with Stampin' Up because of my downline. They are wonderful. So I am truly a blessed leader in Stampin' Up, and I just love doing things for my downline. And doing the make and takes is a very big, important part of that. All right, today's cards are going to use the Wonderful Thoughts bundle. You might recognize this from last week. I'm not actually using the dies this week. The dies are pretty cool. They do coordinate with the sentiments so that you can get that fussy cut look without actually fussy cutting. So cool. So I will use a couple of the stamps, and then we are just going to jump into it. So some of this, I am doing the Big Shot machine. I got to make sure, I keep calling it a Big Shot. The Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, that's probably the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to bring it into my photo here. I got to reach way back to grab the plate that we're going to need, because I'm going to pick one of these embossing folders here. These are the Basics Essentials embossing folders. They come in a pack of 3. They're part of our online exclusives. And you've got the raised glass dots, it's kind of like a hobnail glass look. And then you've got a floral kind of snowflakey pattern here. It's not snowflakes, but it makes me think of snowflakes. And then you've got a crosshatch pattern. So I'll be using the crosshatch pattern today. And let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to take a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 inch cardstock. This is in the color Melon Mambo. And we're scoring it at 3.5 by 9 inches. So you can see that I've already pre-scored it. But what we want to do is we want to create this look. So I already pre-did this just so I can show you what it looks like. This is balmy blue cardstock, And you can see the crosshatch pattern is on the outside. How beautiful is that? And it's also on the inside. So I'm going to show you how to do that with one swoop through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this really pretty Melon Mambo paper. We're going to put it flat out on, we're going to put it into our embossing folder and then put it flat out on our platform without the die lifter. So I'm going to insert this into my Crosshatch Basics 3D embossing folder, 1 of 3. And I'm going to set that directly onto my platform. Then I'm going to take my, it's a plate 4. It's for using with 3D embossing folders. But because this is extra thick, because I've doubled up the cardstock, I want you to know that you can't just, it's hard to run it just directly through. What I like to do is I like to make my sandwich a little like this so that this top plate sticks out a bit. Can you see how that sticks out? That helps me get it started in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now I will tell you that if you are a little bit weak, this would be a hard thing to do. So you might want to skip this step because you have to really crank this to get it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and you'll see why in a second. But because I've layered my plate the way I have, it's easy for me to get it started in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And now I need to stand up because I have to apply a little pressure here as I'm rolling it through, and you'll be able to see that. You may have noticed I had to hold the embossing machine in place pretty hard in order to roll it through. So let me get this out of the way. And let's look at what, oh, it's just beautiful. So here it is, and it's got the crosshatch pattern. And it has the pattern on the inside and the outside. And on the back. So this is a really fun card to send someone because you can just get that beautiful crosshatch all over the place. So much fun. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. Let me set a few other things aside, and then let's go ahead and get started with our stamping. So we're going to actually make 2 cards today. One is going to be in Balmy Blue, one is going to be in Melon Mambo, and we're going to pick some accent colors. So on my Melon Mambo card, I'm going to be using Gorgeous Grape as my accent color. So that is the ink that I'm going to use. And on my Balmy Blue card, I've decided to use the Blueberry Bushel as my accent color. So that's how I chose the ink powders that I'm using, is I picked that for my accent card. So I'm going to set this aside for a minute. And what we're going to do is we're going to put, we're going to stamp our inside sentiments. So you're going to start with 2 inside pieces, 1 for each card, 4 by 5 1/4. And on one, we're going to use Gorgeous Grape. And the sentiment I picked from the Wonderful Thoughts bundle is this one. And once I stamp it, we'll be able to read it. So let me get that lined up here. I'm just going to put that right there. And it says, "You're wonderful, you're loved, you matter." And look how beautifully that's stamped. Now I'm going to switch over to Balmy Blue for my second panel on the inside. Did I say Balmy Blue? I meant Blueberry Bushel. Here's the Blueberry Bushel ink pad. And now what I want to do is I want to clean this so I don't cross-contaminate my ink pad. So I've got the Stampin' Up! Chamois real handy here. And I just keep it in one of our empty cases from Stampin' Up! But I'm just going to kind of ink that off. And now we're going to ink up our sentiment in Blueberry Bushel. And then we'll stamp that on the inside panel for our balmy blue card. Oh my goodness, I just love photopolymer because I can see where I'm going with it. All right, so we're gonna clean this up and I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And as long as I've got my ink colors out, shoot, I wish I would have thought of this. I should go ahead and stamp my outside panels as well. Well, I've got the ink out for the blueberry bushel, so let me do that. So we've got small outside panels, 3/4 by 3 1/8. Uh-oh, look at that. I tell you, no matter how careful I am, I get ink on myself. Are you guys the same way? So what I do when I get ink on myself is I keep one side of my chamois sort of clean, and that's what I use to wipe off the ink. And the chamois has a little bit of a texture to it, so it actually takes the ink off your fingers really, really well. Just a great little tip for you. I'm good at giving those kind of tips because I have to deal with that all the time. All right, so what we want to think about here is when we're stamping our sentiment, we want to make sure, because this is a latch card, let me show you what that looks like. It's actually fitting into this section right here, but we want to make sure that our sentiment is stamped so that it's going to be kind of in the middle of this panel over here. So I know I need to bring it over, maybe not quite a 1/2 inch over from the right-hand side. And it says, "You are appreciated." Then I'm going to clean it, and we're going to use the other ink pad. Kathy is wondering what embossing folders we use. It's the crosshatch embossing folder, Kathy, and it's on the online exclusives ordering page in the Stampin' Up online store, and it is part of a 3-pack of embossing folders called Basics 3D embossing folders. And I used it on both the Balmy Blue and on my Melon Mambo. So now I have the gorgeous grape, and we're going to stamp this. Again, it's 3/4 by 3 1/8. That's our outside panel. And I'm bringing it in maybe about not quite a 1/2 inch or so from the right-hand side, because my latch is going to be over here, so that I don't want to cover up my words when I do the latch. Okay, so we're ready to move on. So I'm going to put all of these stamped panels, well, I'll put these stamped panels aside, and we're going to go ahead and insert our, let me get a few other things out of the way. We're going to go ahead and insert our inside panel. Into our cards that we're making today. So just so much fun. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. And I based the ink color that I picked on the cardstock that I chose as my accent for these cards, which I think I already explained, but just in case there's new people joining and they are wondering. All right, then let's set this aside for a second, because I want to share that the Meandering Meadow Designer Series paper is spectacular. Look at that. So you will have so many, many options. So we're using this one today for our balmy, or for our Melon Mambo card. Isn't that beautiful? With, looks sort of like poppies or tulips or something in the foreground. Just so gorgeous. I'm just going to flip through these rather quickly. This is the one I picked to go with the Balmy Blue card base with the blueberry bushel accent. Just so much beauty. Oh my goodness. Wow. All right, so I'm going to set this aside, and then what I did is I took 12 sheets of that paper and I cut it in half. And these are the halves that I've been playing with as I make my cards, because both sides of the paper are just so gorgeous that you can just use them in multiple ways. So that's what I did. So now let's go ahead and we're going to build the front panel. Well, actually, let's go ahead and finish the inside panels first. So the inside panels are pretty easy. You are going to need the paper that you picked, and you're going to cut it just a smidge below 2 inches. So a smidge below 2 inches is 1 15/16 by 4 1/4. And the reason we have to cut it just a smidge below 2 inches is because we have to account for the score line here. That does take up about a 1/16 of an inch. And we want this to be able to fold over properly. And if you have it an even 2 inches, it will catch a little bit on the fold. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put that into our inside panel. It just makes the card so extra pretty when it's opened up. So let me do that. And I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue just so I can get that in exactly where I want it. And there it is. So that inside panel is complete. Now we'll go ahead and do this one over here. And once again, I use these gorgeous bluebonnet type flowers. And multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to set this on the right hand side of our inside panel. So beautiful. All right, now let's work on our outside panel. So we're going to do that. I'm going to bring my different panels into the picture here. So what you want to find your accent color. So I have Blueberry Bushel on one side here, and I have Gorgeous Grape on the other. And you want to cut your accent color to 2 5/8 by 4 1/4. And then you want to cut the Designer Series paper to 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. So let's go ahead and put those together. And you're going to bring that all the way up to the top because you're just accenting the outer edges. This is going flush to the top and bottom of the card. So it looks like this. Do the same thing over here. Set that in, make it flush to the top, flush to the bottom, and you're just kind of moving it so that it's even between the two sides, the two side panels. And then we are going to need to do a ribbon wrap here. So I don't think I should have put this, I don't think I put this in the supplies. I'll try to do that for tomorrow when I put it up on YouTube. But you will need a couple of Stampin' blends, and I chose to use the dark Blueberry Bushel. And on this one, I've got the dark Orchid Oasis because I wanted to color the ribbon. So what I did is, we don't actually have a Gorgeous Grape Stampin' blend. However, the Orchid Oasis, when it's colored onto this glittered organdy ribbon, it looks very close. It's a very nice match to the Gorgeous Grape. So I'm going to put that one on first, and we want to bring that so it is maybe about close to an inch up from the bottom, maybe not quite an inch. And then we're going to wrap that around, and we're going to do a little bit of Scotch tape. And I'm actually going to double tape this right up to the edge. I'll explain why in a second. Let me just get this on first. The reason is we don't want our latch hooking on anything. So I want to make sure that I've got a smooth ride for my latch as it comes into my card. So I'm actually just plastering the back of this so that there's nothing that can catch on my latch. So here's what that looks like. And then we're going to do the blueberry bushel one, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Look at how pretty that is with the little sparkles in there. It just looks so good with this meandering meadow. So again, we're going to bring this about, I don't know, around an inch up towards the top. And then we're going to do the exact same thing. Now I could have cut this ribbon a little bit shorter, but then I wouldn't have had a place to put my fingers as I was coloring. So here we go. I guess I could cut it shorter right now, but I just didn't think of it. Okay, so once again, let's just get all of this taped on. And I'm just making sure the whole back is nice and smooth. All right, so there we go. Now, in order to have room to put our latch on, we want to make sure that we're putting our Stampin' Dimensionals only at the bottom and then up through the top, but we want to avoid the ribbon area. So I'm going to flip it over. We're going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to use quite a few of them. So I'm going to put a nice little row right here. And a little row right here. Oops. One stuck to my finger. And then we're going to put some at the top. We want to make this nice and sturdy and lift it up from the front of our card. Yes, I know this seems excessive, but I want it to be really sturdy. All right, now I'm going to get my little bowl in here, and I can quick look at comments. Good morning, Janine. Hello, Carol. Nice to have you here. Let me see if I can see if there's any other comments today. Angela's here. Welcome, Angela. Yvonne is here. Good morning. Thank you for sharing. Bonnie's here. Appreciate it. Rixie's here. Oh, thank you guys for joining me. That is so sweet and nice of you. All right, so we're going to keep going along with all of these little peelies. And then we're going to set them on our card. All right. Now, let me go ahead and do that. So we've got this prepared. So we're just setting this panel right in the middle of the left-hand side panel. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Great. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do our tie-ons. So I've got my prepared my blueberry bushel ribbon here with my blueberry Stampin' Blend. And I've got my scissors. Then we're going to do the other side with the dark Orchid Oasis colored ribbon with the Stampin' Blend. As a reminder, all of the blends are on sale from Stampin' Up, which is a really good deal if you want to round out your blending collection. On sale through Thursday, November 16th. All right, so there we go. The front of the card's almost done, so we're getting very close here to the end of the video. So let me show you what we're going to do next. we've got our little panels that we're going to create our latch card, our latch portion of this card with. So that is cut 7/8 by 3 1/4. And of course, they're both the same size. And then this is 1/8 inch smaller. So it's 3/4 by 3 1/8. So I'm going to just add a little Stampin' Seal to the back of this. And then I will carefully set this in for a very skinny border all the way around. Do the same thing here. And then I'll show you how to put this onto your card to make it a latch card so that it holds together nicely. I don't know about you, but I don't like it when things pop up on my cards. So we're going to take the blueberry bushel and we're going to set that in right here. That's going to go here. You want it to go right underneath that ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my glue over here on the right panel, right where that ribbon is. So I can just follow that ribbon line out on my right panel. And then I'm going to slide this in underneath my ribbon and set this down and just make sure it's nice and straight. And make sure it's flush with the edge. So that one is done, except for our cute little butterflies that we're going to add as an accent. We're going to do the exact same thing on the Melon Mambo card. Just follow the ribbon across the other side with your glue and then slide your sentiment underneath for the latch. And then just make sure it's nice and straight and even on the right-hand side. Oh, so pretty. And now for the crowning touch, we're going to take our brushed brass butterflies and add a couple of butterflies on the right panel. So I've got some right here, and I've got my take your pick tool. And we're just gonna have a couple of little butterflies here floating around on both of these cards. Oh my gosh, so pretty. So these are the two cards that we just completed today. Aren't they beautiful? Trying to make sure I get them in the camera here. I think I have my camera a little close, but that's okay. Then you can really see what I'm doing. And then these were the two cards that one of these cards I did at my meeting this past week, and you can see how here I used Misty Moonlight as my accent color on the balmy blue. So it really depends what your Meandering Garden Designer Series paper is. So this one, I thought it looked really pretty with the gorgeous grape, and this one with the blueberry bushel. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate you. And I'll be here next week, which I guess is Thanksgiving week, with some more card ideas. Have a great day and enjoy the seasonal sale. Bye-bye, everybody.